Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Students, welcome to virtual session of week 11 of IT Project Management course. If you can hear me properly, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we were talking about project human resource management, which is one of the 9 knowledge areas of project management, information technology project management, and I'm going to continue with my lecture. So we were talking about what human resource management is. The knowledge areas include development of human resource plan, identifying and documenting project roles, responsibilities, and reporting relationships, and then acquiring the project team, then developing the project team, and then managing them by keeping track of their performance, by motivating them, and providing them feedbacks and resolving issues. Now, only one process lies in the planning phase, which is develop human resource plan, while the rest of them lie in the executing phase, where you acquire project team, develop project team, and manage project team. We talked about some of the motivation theories, how to influence, the ways to hurt and hurt the project, and what are the effectiveness. The 2 types of motivation we discussed. Then we discussed Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then we talked about the motivational and hygiene factor. Then we talked about acquired needs theory, about McGregor's theory X, Y, and Z. And then ways to have influence on the project by using authority, by assignment, by budget, promotion, by penalty, by work challenge, by expertise, by friendship. So the indicators to tell that whether the project is going to succeed or fail. To succeed if the project manager is using expertise and work challenge, and is likely to fail if the project is relying too heavily on authority, money, or penalty. Then these are the types of powers. Then these are Covey's 7 habits to improve effectiveness on projects. Then the project manager needs to be an empathic listener and have to have rapport so that he can influence others. And then we talked about mirroring, when we mark certain behaviors with other person to establish rapport. So IT professionals need to develop empathic listening in other people's skills to improve relationship with stakeholders. Now let's talk about the process. The first is to develop the human resource plan. It involves identifying and documenting project roles, responsibilities, and reporting relationships, and we produce the contents such as project organization chart, staffing management plan, responsibility assignment matrix, and resource histograms. This is a sample organizational chart for a large IT project. So there will be a project manager, and then there will be the deputy project manager who will be reporting to project manager. Then there will be system engineering department, independent test groups, project technical lead, quality assurance manager, or people or configuration, and they all will be reporting to deputy project manager. And then you can sub-assign the responsibilities as project technical lead will have 3 managers, software sub-project manager 1, software sub-project manager 2, and hardware sub-project manager. And even software sub-project manager may have a team of 3 teams to work with, and each team may have its own team lead. So this is the organizational chart which you make so that you can identify the reporting relationship or the hierarchy. Then this is called the work definition and assignment process. So first of all, you think about, like, you have request for proposal, then you have contract, you have charter, you have scope statement. So taking this as input, first of all, first step is to finalize the requirements. So when you finalize requirements, you get finalized project baseline, scope baseline, and technical baselines. Then you think about how work will be done, like which approach you will be following. Either you will be using the team approach or you will be using the program approaches. Then you break down the work, you make it WBS, you define the activities, and then you assign the work. And to assign the work, what you do is that against the WBS, you make an OBS, which is organization breakdown structure, like who will be responsible from the organization for each of the WBS items. So you know that at the lowest level of WBS items contains all the activities or tasks. If they get merged up or they get assembled, they give you the overall work of the project. So there you, when you know that the WBS items are assigned, and I told you before as well that it is very important to assign a WBS item or activity or make someone responsible for that activity. So when you make OBS, you assign the WBS item to the concerned person. Then you make a RAM, which is Responsibility Assignment Matrix, which maps the work of the project as described in WBS to people responsible for performing the work. So it can be created in different ways to meet project in different needs, and this is one of the sample responsibility assignment matrices. So you can make it in any way, but this one is made over here. Like, for example, these are WBS activities which are numbered over here. These only numbers are mentioned over here, not the complete list of activities. And then these are OBS units like system engineering, software development, testing engineering, or quality assurance department, or configuration management person, or the department. So now these are OBS units. Now in the matrix, if we are mentioning R, it means the system engineering is responsible for it. And for the next WBS item, system engineer will be responsible for it, as well as he will be performing the work on it. So where it is P, it means that is performing the work, and with R&D it means responsible as well as performing the work. There can be item on which you are performing the work, but you will be giving the work to someone else who will be responsible for it. Then you make a RAM showing stakeholder roles as well. For example, item is unit testing, integration testing, like these are tasks which have to be performed. Then A, B, C, D, E are the 5 persons or stakeholders. Now, if against in the matrix, if you are specifying S, it means person A is responsible to sign it off. It means that the overall responsibility is with person A for all the tasks. Person B, if it's A, it means B is accountable for it. B is participating in integration testing, system testing, and user acceptance testing, but B is accountable for it. B can be asked if something goes wrong about it. Like if unit testing goes wrong, so B will be accountable for it. In the C, if you see it's I, it means for unit testing, input from person C will be required. And input from B will be required, and from person E, you will require a review. It means person E is a reviewer of all the activities. So that's the role of. So here we can see that against each activity, what is the role each person is performing. Sometimes you make a different type of chart, which is any question? Fatima, do you have any question? She has raised hand, that's why I'm asking. Okay, when you raise hand, I get a bell on my headphone, and it means you have a question, so I get interrupted. If you have a question, then you can raise hand, and if you don't have, then please be careful. Okay? Maybe it happened by mistake. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to open the reader view from here. Okay, this is a sample RACI chart, which is another type of chart which you can make to indicate this. You can make this as well, or you can make the previous one. This contains responsibility, accountability, only one A per task, consultation, or informed. So Group A is responsible for test plans, will be consulted for unit testing, is accountable for integration testing, will be informed about system testing, and will be responsible for user acceptance testing. Group B will be similarly, you make this starts. Then after this, when you have made the resource histograms, then you make staffing management plans and resource histograms. Now this was the histogram which you made, or this was the matrix which you made to indicate that which WBS item will be assigned to which person or which group. Then you make a staffing management plan and resource histogram. Staffing management plan describes when and how people will be added to and taken off the project team. Like it is not necessary that you are making a project team and that will go and the same team will work or the same structure will go till the end of the project. This is not necessary. You can change your team construction during the execution of project as well. You can make and break team during the execution, or you can use different people as you think are suitable to. The resource histogram is a column chart that shows the number of resources assigned to a project over time. Now let's see the sample resource histogram. This is showing the number of people, and this is showing the month. Or it can show even weeks as well. Now this is the month-wise structure. Now in January, the project will require 1 manager, 2 business analysts, and 1 programmer. And why is it so? Because this is the beginning of project where you need to analyze things mostly. In February, you are going with the same thing, same construction. In March, you require 1 manager, 2 business analysts, and 1, 2, 3, 4 programmers. In April, you require, because your main focus is on programming, on implementation, so that's why in March you require more programmers. In April, you require 1 manager, 1 business analyst, because your programming task is going on, so most of the things may have got implemented by the end of March. So now you require 1 analyst, now you require 4 programmers, and 1 technical writer. So something may have been ready by now, so you'll ask you may be interested in making the reports about it as well. In May you will go the same structure, and in June you require 1 project manager, 1 business analyst, 1 programmer, and 1 technical writer. So this is how you will be going with your project. In addition to providing technical training for IT personnel, several companies have made significant investment in project management trainings to provide career paths for project managers. Hewlett-Packard, is one of the very famous company, employed only 6 registered PMPs in 1997. By August 2004, it employed more than 1,500 PMPs and was adding 500 more per year. So initially they had 6, and after 7 years they had 1,500. While most consulting firms offer a single path to a leadership position, IBM has 4 to allow their people to succeed by focusing on their strengths and interests in more and more disciplines. Now, the next step, you have made your plan, but the next step is to acquire the project teams. Acquiring qualified people for teams is very crucial. The project manager, who is the smartest person on the team, has done a poor job of recruiting. It is important to assign the appropriate type and the number of people to work on projects at the appropriate times. This is very important. So you make resource assignments, you make staffing plans and good hiring procedures to make your project succeed. And staffing plans and these procedures are as important as our incentives for recruiting and retention. Some companies give their employees $1 for every hour a new person they helped. For every hour a new person they helped hire works. Some organizations allow people to work from home as an incentive. Enrollment in the United States computer science and engineering programs have dropped almost in half since 2000 and 1/3 of US workers will be over the age of 50 by 2010. The research suggests that organizations rethink hiring practices and incentives to hire and retain IT talent. So these are very important, that they acquire good teams and retain them. This is another example. Now the next task is resource loading. This refers to the amount of individual resources and existing schedule required during specific time periods. Now when I talk about resource here, I am talking about human resource, the number of people. So when I say resource loading, it means for every task I am loading people to work on it. So how much amount of, or how many individual resources you require with the existing schedule to complete the things according to the planned timeline. It helps project managers develop a general understanding of the demands that the project will make on the organizational resource and individual people's schedules. Now, if you perform over-allocation, like what over-allocation means? Over-allocation means that more resources than are available are assigned to perform work at a given time. Like you don't have resources available, but you have assigned those resources to work at a given time. Now this is showing the over-allocation, showing an over-allocated individual. Now you can see here that this is Joe Franklin. Now you can see here in March, the blue histograms are showing allocation, and the red ones are showing over-allocated. So the Joe can work maximum up till this line, but you have used Joe in other schedules as well when he is not available. So this is over-allocated. Now you perform resource leveling to solve many problems to reduce over-allocation. What resource leveling is, it's a technique for resolving resource conflicts by delaying tasks. Like if you want to use a resource which is not available at that time, you can delay that task. The main purpose of resource leveling is to create a smoother distribution of resource usage and reduce over-allocation. For example, see this diagram, this is very important. You can see that this is a activity on arrow diagram. You can see that activity A has 2 days duration, B has 5 days duration, and C has 3 days duration. Now the condition is activity A has 3 days of slack, C has 2 days of slack, activity has. Now assume this that, now you can see here that activity B will be completed after 5 days. So the slack for A is 3 days, because A can be delayed up to 3 days. Similarly, activity C has 3 days duration. It can be delayed up to 2 more days. Now, activity A has required 2 workers, B has 4 workers, and C has 2 workers. The initial assignments was like this. If they all started work on day 1, so 2 workers were required for C, 4 workers were required for B, and 2 workers were required for A. So total, initially, you required total 8 workers. You started your work. After 2 days, the activity A got finished. So you do not require those workers now. Now you require workers, 2 workers for C and 4 for B. After 1 more day, C also, activity also got finished. Now only B activity is left. So 4 workers will be working on activity B till the end of day 5. Now what do you think? What these 2 workers will be doing over here, and these 2 more workers, what they will be doing over here? I think your question was about over-allocation. It means when you have assigned more workers to a task than you have available. Like, for example, you required, you have 4 workers. Instead of 4 workers, the activity required 8 workers, so you have assigned 8 workers, where you know that you don't have 8 workers. Now see here, in this diagram, when after 2 days, the people working on activity A will get free, and for the next 4 days they will remain free. After 3 days, another 2 people who were working on activity C will also be free. They will be doing nothing. So all of them will be, for the next 2 days, they will not be doing anything. So this is poor utilization of resource. So you cannot afford it. So what you have to do is, you have to perform resource leveling. So what you will be doing is, you will engage 4 workers on activity B from day 1, and for the next 2 workers, what you will do is, you will ask them to first work on activity A. After 2 days, when their work gets finished, you will ask them to start working on activity C. So when activity B will end, activity C will also end. So now you are only using the 6 people, and you are getting the work done in 5 days. Previously, you were using 8 people, and you were still getting the work done in 5 days. Okay? So instead of using 8, now you are using 6, and you are using them effectively. No, you need to use appropriate number of workers. Like if a work requires 2 workers at a time, and you can, and you know that you can delay that activity, it has a slack, so you should delay it. Now this is the best example of resource leveling. Like in the first, when you were not leveling it, you used 8 workers. You had 8 workers to do the work, and they were free. Like 2 workers were free for 3 days, and 4 workers were free for 2 days. So now, in the next one you have levels, nobody is free, everybody is working all the time, and you require only 6 workers. It depends on like, you see your network diagram. That's why you calculate slack. It helps you out that how much you can delay in each activity. So from this slack network diagram, we came to know that we can delay activity A, activity C for 3 days. And activity A is going to be over after 2 days. So what we did was we knew that the activity A 2 days plus 3 days of activity C will make it 5. So after 5 days, both of them will get finished. So you engaged 2 workers to do both of these activities. Now the benefits of resource leveling is, when resources are used on a more constant basis, they require less management. It may enable project managers to use a just-in-time inventory type of policy for using subcontractors or other expensive resources. It results in fewer problems for project personnel and accounting department, and it often improves morale as well. Because the resource will be engaged only when they will be required. If they are not required, then they will not be engaged to a project or to a task for which their input is not required. And remember, if you engage people to a task unnecessarily, or you may give them some free time or available time, there will be problems for you for management. So you have to assign them work when it is needed, and you have to release those resources if they are not needed. Now once you have acquired the team, you have assigned them tasks, you have performed resource leveling, the next step is to develop the project team. The main goal of team development is to help people work together more effectively to improve the performance. Now you know that you have a biggest group of people to work on, you have planned to work on, you have performed resource leveling as well, and you have done everything to make the work smooth. Now the people are going on, the work has actually started, they are busy doing their work. Now the next step is to develop that team. make them work together, give them time to harmonize with each other, and provide an environment they can work effectively and to increase the project performance. Now, it takes teamwork to successfully complete most projects. It is not the individual win situation. When a project succeeds, it's the success of the whole team. So how you can develop the project team? This is the Tuckman model of team development. You may have heard about this as well. Have you heard these about before? When you this is the Tuckman model of team development. This says that the team goes through 5 phases. Like, for example, if I make a group of you and we ask you to do an assignment and all of you don't know each other, so like I make a group of 3 people or 4 people and I ask them to do a project and they don't know each other, the first step it goes through is forming. So they form a team, they sit together, they have a meeting, and they come to know each other that, okay, this is the work we have to do and we are the team members. So this is the forming phase. They decide how they will be doing work, so who will be doing which task and how they will be proceeding. So they decide about this. Now the next phase which team goes through is storming. So if a single member of the team do not move according to plan, or if they find differences with each other's way of working or personalities, then they come to a phase which is called storming phase. They start complaining about each other, or some of them may be complaining about each other, like that person has to deliver the task and that he or she has not delivered it, or I'm giving you an example of assignments. Like she had to email me today, but she had not given it, so my work is going to be delayed. Or I'm working on the project, that person is not doing the work. I'm doing most of the tasks. I'm given more tasks to do, and she is not doing anything. Or I know I can do it better than her, or no. So and these things when are communicated to the other person, then your team goes through a phase which is called storming phase. You don't want to see each other's faces. You are in the storming phase and you are repenting that why you have made group with that person, and it was your biggest mistake that you made with that group with that person, and now you will repent that what I will be doing, I'm going to get a F grade in the project or something like that. So this phase goes on. In every team, the storming phase comes. So after the storming phase, you come to the norming phase. Now you know that now the group is made, you can't do anything, you can't leave the project, and you can't get an F in the project, you cannot break the group, there is no choice, now you have to work. Now you start norming. You start accepting things, you start accepting people. Okay, that person is doing way, you talk to her, okay, do something. Or even if she's giving you less work, or she's not giving you the work which you expected, you will accept that and you will start working onward. After the norming phase in the team comes the performing phase. Now the team has passed through the first 3 phases. Now they're in the performing phase, and now everybody starts performing. Even the person which was not performing before now starts performing, and their energies are fully charged to work for the benefit of the project. And after the performing phase, then comes the adjourning phase. Now they have performed as well. Now they are this is the most you can say the finest stage of team development, that they cherish that they have worked together, they have performed well, and now they own that work. In every project, the team goes through all of these phases, and it is a duty of project manager, or the project manager should work on these lines to make your team pass through the first 3 phases as quickly, as early as possible. So as early as possible, they will pass through these stages. They will come to the performing phase, which will be good for the project. If you not, if your team even in teams it happens that the deadline is very near, the project is about to complete, but they are still in the storming phase. So if they are in the storming phase, project is not going to succeed. And even if they after storming, your storming phase was taking till the 70% of your time, and the next 30% of time they are spending in norming, this is not good for your project. So you should allow team members to pass through the first 3 phases of team development as early as possible. You assign them work initially, you make them storm, you make them norm, and then when they come in the performing phase, then you give them real work to do. Okay, is it clear? Okay. Now training. Training can help people understand themselves, each other, and how to work better in teams. And team building activities include physical challenges, physiological preference indicator tools. Now these are the what you can do is that to make people pass through these stages, sometimes you to give them training as well, so that the team gets developed. So you give them some challenges, or you can there are some psychological preference indicator tools as well which you can use. Now Meyers-Briggs Type Indicator is a popular tool for determining personality preference and helping teammates understand each other. Now if you explore this Meyers-Briggs Type Indicator on the Google, let me show you what you will find out. Just give me a second. Okay. Okay, if you Google it out on the web about this, it's a test. It's a test in which you are asked some questions, and when you answer these questions, then they tell you about the types of personality you are having. I want you to go to this link. Let me paste it for you. Okay. This is the link which I have pasted. Explore this link for more information. Okay. Now let's talk about the indicators. MBTI is a popular tool for determining personality preference and helping teammates understand each other. There are 4 dimensions. Some people are extrovert, some are introvert. Now, if you read the details about these from the web, in which there are 16 personality types mentioned over here. So the extroverts are the people who get energies from outside. Introverts are the people who get energy from their own ideas. Some people are sensational. The others are intuitional. And some people are thinking. Some people are feeling. Some people are judgmental, and some are decisions based on perception. I'm looking for a text about it, which I prepared. Okay, let me give me a second. Okay, I'll post the link later. I'll post the link later about it. So now NTs, the people who are intuitional, are called N's, and the people who are thinking are called T's. So the people who are intuitional and thinking are attracted to technology fields. So since the people in IT field are the ones who are NTs, and they are having rational thinking, so they will be coming in the IT field, so they will be different from general population. And also the IT people are not extroverted or sensing, because they are intuitional, they are not sensing, and they are not extroverted because if they will be extroverted, then they will be more communicative and will be getting energy from the outer world. But they are introverted because they get their own ideas. Most of them rely on their own ideas. So since many people are from the NTs, so that's why they find difficulty in communicating with the others and working in a team. Now, social style profiles. People are perceived as behaving primarily in one of the 4 zones, based on their assertiveness and responsiveness. Some people are drivers, like whenever they move in a group, they lead the discussion. They are the center of attention for everyone. And then some people are expressive. They like to express everything, even if it is not required. So in your team as well, some people will be drivers, some people will be very expressive, some people will be analytical, they will always be analyzing things, and some people will be amiables. The amiables are the ones who will be friendly and who will be taking everything very light. Drivers who lead the people, who lead a group, expressive are the ones who are more communicative. They will be showing their concerns, and the analytical are the ones who look at everything critically and help to identify the problems or give a critical opinion about everything. And amiables are the ones, like in a group of people, if even like in your friends of circles as well, or in your, if you are working on assignments or project as well, enablers will be the one who will be cooling down the situation if some conflict arises. So they will be the one who will be helping them harmonize with each other to make them cool down. So they are enablers. People on opposite corners, drivers and enablers, analyticals and expressives, may have difficulties getting along. And this is the corners, drivers, analyticals, enablers and expressives all lie in 4 different quadrants. Analyticals and enablers are directed assertiveness. They tell directed assertiveness, task directed responsiveness, and people directed responsiveness. Now in the opposite quadrants, people will have problems. Like the drivers, for whom the work is very important and they take everything seriously, and enablers are the ones who take everything lightly, so that they get difficulty getting along. And the people who are conservative or analytical, they have difficulty getting along with the people who are more expressive and open. Okay, so these are social styles. So when you make your team, you can identify the types of personalities of different people, and then you can make suitable allocation so that they do not conflict. They even if they have conflict, they pass through it quickly. Like for example, for a critical task, for a very critical task, which is on the critical part of your project, if you are assigning 2 people who are amiable, so what do you think? The project is going to succeed? Or the task is going to be completed on time? Yes or no? No, it will not be, Aman. Because the people who are enabled take things lightly. They do not take deadlines seriously. They are more friendly, but they do not take work very seriously. So if you are for a very critical task, you have allocated that task to 2 persons who are enabled, so the task will not be completed, or there are less chances the task will be completed on time. Or you may be assigning, like if you are assigning 2 drivers, 2 people who are drivers to a less important task, the task will get completed. Okay, now let's talk about the disk profile. Also uses, the project manager can also use a 4-dimensional model of normal behavior, dominance, influence, steadiness, and compliance. People in opposite quadrants can have problem understanding each other. So this is the compliance disk profile. Now the people in the opposite quadrants have problem understanding each other. Yes, drivers can be managers, but it's not can be a manager, can be successful as well. But the drivers are not always the one if your team has all drivers, your project is not going to succeed. Why? Because the driver's personality type will always be focusing on work. They will be less communicative. They will be directive. So the person who is directive himself or herself will not like to receive directions. So in the project, every team member has to listen as well. So they will not be empathic listeners, so they're not likely to succeed. The project team, a good team, is a combination of different types of people. Some are experts, some are average people, some are less than average people. Now the disk profile, the people are focusing on I. It means they are dominant. They are directive, they are decisive, assertive, outcome-oriented, competitive, self-assured, takes control, and has to win. But their focus is on I. They believe in their own individual goals. And sometimes the project succeeds because of this I. Some people focus on it. Data-driven, risk-averse, don't like to take much risk. They are concerned, works well alone, prefers processes and procedures, not very communicative or social. So they are given a pattern, they are given a rule, a procedure, they follow that, they focus on work. and they don't like to take much risk. The other quadrant is U, which is steadiness or green. The people in this quadrant are calm, sincere, sympathetic, cooperative, cautious, conflict averse. They don't want to get into the conflict. Good listeners, wants to maintain stability. Although these are good features, but the people who are focusing on, people are in the U quadrant, face difficulty in getting along with the people who are in I quadrant. Because the dominant people will be decisive, they will be directive, they will be outcome oriented, whereas the U people will be sympathetic. They are competitive and they are cooperative. The competition and cooperation are different things. They are self-assured, takes control and has to win, whereas these are conflict averse, good listeners and want to maintain stability. Now the people who are focusing on V are persuasive, optimistic, outgoing, verbal, enthusiastic, strives to win others over, leadership through acclamation, whereas the people in it are risk averse. They are not communicative and not social. So they also get difficulty in getting along with the V people. Now, the project managers can use a reward and recognition system to manage team as well. Team-based rewards and recognition systems can promote teamwork. Like instead of giving reward to an individual, give the reward to a team. Focus on rewarding teams for achieving specific goals. Allow time for team members to mentor and help each other to meet project goals and develop human resources. The project manager must lead their teams in performing various project activities, and he should assess team performance and decide that if changes are requested, should be requested to the project, if corrective actions should be taken, or if updates are needed. Then the tools and techniques which the project manager can use to manage teams are: he can observe, he can have conversation, he can have project performance appraisals, he can use conflict management techniques, he can use issue logs, like whenever an issue between any two persons arises, he make a log of it, that why did this issue has arisen and what's the problem, who is responsible, and he can use the technique of interpersonal skills to manage project teams. And these are some general advice for project manager to manage teams. Be patient and kind with your team. Fix the problem instead of blaming people. Establish regular effective meetings. Allow time for teams to go through the basic team building stages like forming, storming, norming. Limit the size of work teams to 3 to 7 members, not more than 7 members, not less than 3 members. So it's a good size of team. Then these are the 5 dysfunctions of a team. So if a team is having any one of this dysfunction, so then the team will not be a good team. The one is absence of trust. If they do trust each other, or they have fear of conflict, so one of them will accept everything from the other side, so that will not be good. Lack of commitment, if any of the members has showing lack of commitment, then it's not going to succeed. Avoidance of accountability and inattention to results. So these are the 5 dysfunctions of a team. Then this is a general advice on the team for project manager, and the project manager can use the software to assist in this process. And remember the last word, that I think this is the last slide. The project manager, there are many things, right, tools and techniques available for human resource management, but the project manager should rely more on his own skills than using the software. He should treat people with consideration and respect, understand what motivates them, communicate carefully with them, and focus on your goal of enabling project team members to deliver their best work. So this is your success. If your team is delivering you the best, then it's your success. Okay, so this is the last slide. This is the summary of the chapter. Okay, now if you have any question, you can ask me now. Yes, so was your question about assignment? About which assignment? Yes, what's your question about assignment? Hello? Okay, just give me a second. A3 number 4. Okay, let me open book first. Can you tell me page number which it is from book? Yes, A3 number 4, project human resource management. Assume the marketing person will be unavailable for 1 week, 2 months into the project, and for another week, 4 months into the project. So it means the marketing person will not be available for 1 week in the first 2 months and for 2 weeks in the next 4 months into the project. Make adjustment to accommodate this unavailability so that the schedule does not slip and costs do not change. Document the changes from the original plan and the new plan. Add to each resource a 5% raise that starts 3 months into the project. Print a new budget report. Use the resource usage fee to see each person's work each month. Print a copy. So what's the problem, Hala, in it? What's the confusion? What's the confusion in it? See, first you have made a plan in the previous part, like you know that you have this is the software training program which we are continuously working on. You have performed the scope management. You have not, if you have not made perform time management, you have to do it now. You have to perform cost management. Now you have plans. You have complete plan for your project. For cost management, you have made the plan. So now you have to first develop the schedule. After developing the schedule, you will make a resource histogram, and you will perform resource leveling. And then you will talk about a particular resource, that what is the schedule of a person who is marketing person. What is the schedule of that person? And then you will see that in the total duration of project, if that person is unavailable for 1 week, so does it make any difference to the project? If it is making, then you have to see that which person can replace him during that time, so, according to the skill set. And for the next 2 months, he will be available for 2 weeks in the next 4 months. So does this affect the schedule? If it is doing, it is affecting, so how you can, because you want to accommodate this unavailability, you may be assigning some other person to do his task, or you may be asking him to do the task earlier. This depends that how you have performed resource allocation, for him. So how you have engaged him initially. So if he is not available after making the plan, if it is not available, he is not available for 4 months, for 1 week, for 2 months, and for 2 weeks, for 4 months. So how you are going to adjust the plan? So first make the initial allocation and then revise the allocation and show that what are the changes you have made to this. Okay, is it clear now? Fatima, I'll reply you through email, and I'll see if you have submitted it somewhere else in the DBMS folder. Then I'll see it over there. And if you have submitted all the other homeworks on time, and you have submitted the correct file, then I'll accept your first homework as well. Okay. Okay. Okay, submit all the rest of the other homeworks on time as well. So I'll see it. Okay, students, now I'm going to leave because I have another class at 5 p.m. So that's already 5 p.m. So if you have any question, you can email me, and you can keep your questions in our next face-to-face class. Okay? Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.